Hello traders and welcome to another video review. Today is Wednesday, the 17th of the March 2021. Let's take a look at the Forex calendar because today is a very interesting day, especially for all of you who are interested in the Fed monetary policy and of course the future of the US dollar. But first things first, let's take a look. Do we have some interesting data to be released during the London session? As you can see, some data might be kind of interesting, but there isn't much of them. This is a consumer price index from the Eurozone, scheduled for release at 11 o'clock a.m. And it's kind of important because it shows you if there's any inflationary pressure from the consumer side on the market. But as you can see, the previous reading was 0.9%, the forecast is 0.9%, so there is no expectation of any sort of the consumer price index to rise, so there is no expectation of the inflationary pressure from the Eurozone. So that's basically everything for the London session, because as you can see, we got pretty much busy calendar during the New York session. We start 1:30 with the scheduled release of a consumer price index from Canada this time. As you can see, we got the sub indices here: common core CPI, median, and trimmed core CPI. But this is kind of an important event for the Canadian dollar, and the forecast is 0.1% higher than the previous reading from the month of the February, of course, from the previous month. And it will be interesting to see whether the Canadian dollar will react on this data. Of course, we have a bunch of data from the US, like building permits, housing starts, scheduled for release 1:30, 1:30. There is of course, crude oil inventories data to be released, and 7 o'clock. We have our FOMC rate decision statement, economic projections, and 7:30 we have press conference of the FOMC. So plenty of traders, plenty of the investors will be watching this statement and press conference live. So please bear this in mind, that the market might be kind of a violate during this time. And last but not least, the New Zealand GDP is scheduled for release 11:15 deep in the night. As you can see, from 14% to 0.1%, very big decrease for the fourth quarter in the GDP of the New Zealand. So this is kind of interesting data as well. So because there's a FOMC interest rate decision, let's take a look at our chart of the US dollar index. As you can see here, let me just zoom in. As you can see here, we have this recent development in form of a correction. We have labeled it as a wave 4, and I would leave it like this right now, because it's still this Elliott wave scenario discount is still valid, and despite the fact that we broke below the technical support, of course, but the price bounced around the level 92, and right now we are waiting for the last push to the upside, right? 92.77 is the target for now. If this movement is done, then we can have a correct A and B. As you can see, the low of the B is here, right? This is the wave B, and then of course we can have a wave C to the upside, and that's the textbook correction of the irregular flat. 3 ways in the wave A, 3 ways in the wave B, 5 ways to the upside in the wave C. Textbook example of the counter trend correction, and it still looks like a counter trend correction, despite the fact it retraced kind of a nice road towards nice level to the upside, but we never actually went toward 94.25, 94.27 yet. So we wait for the FOMC to give us the interest decision and the monetary policy statement, but the most important thing is how the market will react on that data. and what the market participants will do with those data. Of course, as you can see, there's still one wave missing, and then this pattern might be completed. Of course, we can have this 5-wave extended higher. We don't know that yet, so we just stick to this scenario for now. When this pattern is completed, the market will likely return to the down move. So if this market is completed, we will likely return to the downtrend, to the down move. So please keep an eye on the current developments on the US dollar index ahead and post the FOMC interest rate decision. Okay, USD and the Canadian dollar. Why we are looking on this? Of course, we have interesting data to be published today. There is still no change in our outlook. I mean, we've seen this kind of a behavior before. As you can see, we got the bounce, triangle, breakout to the downside, bounce, triangle, breakout to the downside. This is a textbook example of a downtrend, despite the fact that the price is diverging from the momentum indicator. I've got mine RSI set on 14 periods back. So right now the downtrend is continuing, and let me just take a look. Yes, the next target is 1.2244. So far we are on the good way towards this level. Nothing changes here basically. Let me just zoom back in, and yeah, that's it. We are still selling the US dollar, buying the Canadian dollar. Predictable patterns are reappearing on this chart, so please pay attention to the fact that we are still going lower on the USD to the Canadian dollar, and the target is, as I said, 1.2244, which is over 200 pips right now from this low. So that's the US dollar and Canadian dollar. Let me just take a look on the New Zealand dollar, because we got the important data there as well. Not much has been going on the New Zealand dollar after this 3-wave down move that resulted in minus 4.91% decline in New Zealand dollar from 7,461 to, let's say, 7,096 pips. The bounce is kind of a shallow. Right now the market is making kind of a triangle pattern, which is like this somehow. Yeah, something like that. So what should happen now? After the bounce, we have a triangle consolidation, and we should break higher towards 7,244 or even 7,313. Right? If there is no breakout to the outside, if the market will do something else, so that's the scenario, somewhere here, then of course this this price pattern will be regarded as violated and the normal direction, and then of course we will go lower towards the 7,096 pips, and even of course even lower towards 6,972, 6,941. So it still looks like that uptrend is being continued, because we are, as you can see from the perspective, we are here, right? The uptrend is still being continued, but because this down move is the bigger correction from the beginning of this up move, we might start to suspect that there is some sort of deeper correction to be made. So this part is not the part of the overall up move. This is some sort of the correction. The question is whether it's finished, when it's completed, or maybe this is only the first leg of the correction, wave B, and there is still wave C to come on the New Zealand dollar. So far, please keep an eye on the level of 7,096, right? So this is the key. Basically, right now it's a key technical support, because it was tested before on the 18th of the January this year. So kind of an important level as well. So the bears might have some trouble in crashing it in one go. especially if we consider the fact that we are still trending up. So this move here is a counter trend correction to the downside. When it's completed, the uptrend should be continued, right? So the question right now is whether we have finished the down move, or maybe we'll do the C wave to the downside. So please keep an eye on the levels, keep an eye how they're being played out. And of course, the data from the New Zealand might trigger some volatility later in the night. So please watch out for the increased volatility after the data are published. So that's everything for me ahead of the FOMC interest rate decision. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and I hope I see you tomorrow with the new technical analysis and review. Take care, guys, and bye-bye.